to me, the suttas are like spoken instructions. They are spoken instructions, often by the Buddha or his disciples. And so I thought first I should just read the sutta and maybe say something on it, and then we're going to do this reflecting meditation. So this is from the Anguttara Nikaya, and that's the numerical discourses, one of the big sutta collections. This is Anguttara Nikaya 6.10. So it's called Mahanama Sutta. And so this Mahanama is a prince of the Sakyan clan, just as the Buddha was a prince of the Sakyan clan, and so is this person. And he comes to the Buddha and he asks about abiding places for noble ones. And the Buddha talks about six abodes. And if maybe you recollect that Monica talked about the 4 Brahmaviharas, the 4 heavenly abodes. So these are 6 other abodes that the Buddha is talking about. And so I'm going to read the sutta just now, but you can keep your eyes open or closed as you wish, but try to hear this as a meditation instructions. At one time, the Buddha was staying in the land of the Sakyans, near Kapilavatthu, in the Banyan Tree Monastery. Then Mahanama the Sakyan went up to the Buddha, bowed, sat down to one side, and said to him, Bhante, when a noble disciple has received the fruit and understood the teaching, where do they abide? Mahanama, a noble disciple who has received the fruit and understood the teaching, it is with these abiding that they largely dwell. Firstly, a noble disciple recollects the Buddha. And then he goes on. It's a long sutta, and I shorten it a little bit. A noble disciple whose mind is strengthened by the teachings finds inspiration and joy in the teachings, and finds joy connected with the teachings. Furthermore, and this is then the second abode, furthermore, a noble disciple recollects the Dharma. Furthermore, a noble disciple recollects the Sangha. And here comes the 4th one. Furthermore, Mahanama, the noble disciple recollects their own virtues, unbroken, uncracked, unspotted, unmottled, freeing, praised by the wise, ungrasped, leading to samadhi. Furthermore, a noble disciple recollects their own generosity. I'm so fortunate. I'm freely generous, open-handed, loving to let go, committed to charity, loving to give and share. furthermore, a noble disciple recollects the deities. When a noble disciple who has received the fruit and understood the teaching, it is with these abidings that they largely dwell. So that is the sutta. I'm not really sure why the part about they find joy in the teachings is under the Buddha. Obviously, he was the one bringing the teachings, but I'm not sure why it's there rather than under the Dharma. And there are some high standards here where the virtues are unbroken, uncracked, unspotted, unmottled. I had to Google that. Apparently, it's things without spots, without dots. But it's freeing. It's praised by the wise. It's ungrasped. And it's leading to samadhi. And they recollect their own generosity. And it's quite interesting here. I'm so fortunate, so very fortunate, being freely generous. It's a fortune to be generous, to be open-handed. It's a fortune to love, to let go. It's a fortune to be committed to charity. It's a fortune to love, to give and love, to share. And remember what Stephen said the other day about this happiness that comes from letting go, that comes from giving away, that comes from sharing. And when I hear sharing, I'm thinking of our sharing sessions also. It's not just giving money away. There's a lot of things to share, to give. There's a lot of things to give up. So I want us to mainly now in the more meditative part of this Kusala hour to work and look more at the fourth one and the fifth one, the one with the practice of sila, practice of virtue in our lives, and abiding in the joy that just comes from reflecting upon it. Abiding in that joy that just comes from reflecting on giving. So find yourself a comfortable seat. Eyes closed or eyes open as you wish. Grounding yourself in the body. Allowing awareness to return to the body. Recognizing maybe any held tension there. Softening into that tension. And sometimes there are tensions that just don't go away. Allow it to be. Maybe we can observe how the mind is moving. We don't need to control that moment, rather softening all the way into the body. Finding the posture where the body is connected to the earth. It's grounded thanks to gravity. And the top of the head is free to float up. Softening into this body all the way out, but also all the way in. All the way in, but also all the way out. Feeling the clothing, the air that touches the skin. Now, just reflect. Reflect back on today. Is there something that you may be given today? You're given time to the practice. Time in sharing with others. Stephen often talks about finding the joy in small things. Can you see the joy in that little giving there? Giving up control. Letting go. Every time you done ghost today, you practice giving up, letting go. Joys in that. Recollect a simple time where you're simply kind to another person. Maybe it was someone you didn't know. Maybe you just held the door open at the store. You gave your seat to an older person at the bus. Maybe you saw someone drop something and you quickly caught it and gave it to them. Maybe you just shared a moment with a dog or a cat. How does it feel to abide in this recollection? Maybe you helped someone who needed it. Maybe you gave someone food or money. Or maybe just some kind words when they needed to hear it, or advice. Or maybe you participated in, I don't know, some Q&A somewhere where you shared your wisdom and experience, where you shared your doubts and insecurities, your not knowing. How does it feel to reflect upon the kind and virtuous things, the generous things you've been doing? I know some of us finds this a bit difficult, but Recognize those moments when you're kind to yourself. What acts of kindnesses have you done to yourself today? Maybe you gave yourself food, water, maybe you gave yourself time to practice the Dharma. Maybe what you're doing right now is an act of kindness. Reflecting on virtue. Spent the past few days on retreat, whether working retreat or full time. What could possibly be more virtuous than that? You have, in fact, given all this time to the practice. Just feel that. Remember, Stephen talked about the Buddha, or maybe it was Monica. Anyway, one of them talked about the Buddha reflecting on when the Buddha was a child sitting under the rose apple tree. And remembered the joy there. And Monica has, in her guided meditations, her spoken instructions, reminded us about some time we were a child, when we felt safe and secure. So what is your rose apple tree? Now, slowly returning to feel the room through the body again. The ground underneath, the touch of clothing, maybe opening up to sounds. And just reflect a little bit. Can you see the kindness that is already there in your life? The virtue that is already there. The giving that's already there. Stephen says that those reflections, and I think Monica also talked about this, that I don't know how to say it in English properly, but they have no end to them. You can take the same rose apple tree again and again and again, and it works every time. You can recollect it that same time, that time over and over again when you held the door open for someone. And I'm also curious, how would it be if we started to reflect on this in our daily life when we're out and about? Allowing this joy of kindness and care, this joy of sharing and giving to guide us in our daily life. And rejoicing not in being one of those perfect noble ones that we may be found in the sutta, but in the small steps, the small successes. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. I don't know. I like reflecting on doing nice things. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.